Stefania.
Zanetta, how are you?
I am wonderful. We're having such fun with this restream.
Of course,
I'm
we
gonna
are.
blame it on stream. No, we're having very bad weather. So just in case I pop out, you know, you
We,
got this.
we know why.
Yeah. Yes. It's
Friday.
Friday.
Yes, it is for you
Yeah.
and Raphael.
Happy,
Happy
fun, fresh Friday.
and welcome to everybody that is tuning in and being very patient with us, of course. Correct?
Yes.
Because we've just had some technical, interesting moments. We'll call it that. We won't
Very
call
interesting.
won't call
Yeah.
it anything else. So
So
how's the week been, Zanetta?
it's been full. It's been full, busy, good, full, good, busy,
Mhm.
um, productive. Yeah. I'm glad it's Friday though, because then I can sit back and relax and do nothing.
Yes, I know. And just chill, hey? Friday night
Yes.
movies or something? What's planned for the evening?
Oh no, it's just you and I for the
Oh,
evening.
yeah. You have a date with me every Friday. What
Hmm.
do you say about that?
Yes, I have a date with you every Friday. Yeah.
Oh, good. Of course, because by the time we're finished, it's like bedtime for you guys. So that's your evening's over, really, isn't it?
Yeah. 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 Well, Jeff comes home and then we have a chat and then we'll probably maybe watch a show or two and then we'll head on up to go to bed. Yeah.
Now, is there much entertainment in your city where you live? Like as far as, I don't know, shows
Yeah.
and plays and
Oh yeah.
big
Oh
bars.
yeah.
It's a big city.
Oh yeah. Cincinnati. Cincinnati is
Uh-huh.
yeah. There's a lot of shows, Broadway shows, concerts, big name concerts. Um, what else? They do a lot of movies here. So they
Do
shoot a lot of movies.
Oh, in Ohio,
Yeah,
Cincinnati, especially.
Cincinnati.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Interesting. Is it what? Because it's got that um, architecture. Is it what is it? Is it some kind of style? Some I know of like Philadelphia is a Philly. I think that gets a lot of movies. Movies are shot there as well, like filmed
Yeah.
there.
I don't know what the reason is, but I do remember a whole lot of shows were based here, like WKRP in Cincinnati.
Mhm.
That just comes to mind, the TV show, the series. So there's other ones too, and they have a huge studio
Do they?
here. Uh, yeah,
Oh wow. So
uh,
do you
uh,
ever bump into
t-
any movie stars?
no, because I don't hang out in Cincinnati.
Okay. And they probably don't hang
Yeah,
out there anyway. They probably just work and just hibernate. They don't want to be swamped
yeah,
by people and that.
yeah, and
So
and if they're filming, they actually close down. So they're
area.
going to be filming. Yeah, there's a movie. They're hush hush about it. That is being filmed at a restaurant in Cincinnati. So they closed it. It's been closed since January to I believe April. I
Mm.
think until April. So nobody knows who's doing what. You
Oh
can't
wow.
see it. You can't. Yeah, it's hush hush. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's lively, very lively in Cincinnati. A lot of stuff to do.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never been to that city. I've been to many cities in the United States, but never in Cincinnati. Mm. And the
You're not
name.
missing anything.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not missing anything at all. No. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So today, do you have any shout
Mm.
out, Zanetta?
Um, I am going to give a shout out to Nicole. She posted something today that I really loved. Um, she posted about, when you were beat as a child, and you turned out to be okay. Does it mean that you beat your child and thinking that they would be okay?
Mhm.
So yeah, so I mean, it was comical in a way, but there was an impact, you know. So I was like, okay, you need to put more posts like this.
Oh, was it
And
her
so she's,
filming it? Was it actually her talking?
yes, it was
Oh,
her, because she is a therapist. She
mhm.
is a therapist. So yeah. So shout
Well,
out to her.
yes. Hello, Nicole.
Hello, Nicole.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And I'd like to shout out to Darren. Darren, who is in Melbourne at the moment. He's from Queensland, and I was part of a quantum experience yesterday. Yeah, went into the city, which was lots of fun. I caught the tram in. I hadn't been on a tram for like I can't remember how many years, but it was lovely. I spent the whole day in the city because it started about 9 o'clock and ended about 6:15. So that was really, really great. I really enjoyed that experience.
Awesome.
And he was
Nice. Well, hello, Darren.
yes, hello, Darren King, just to make it more
Darren
specific.
King.
Darren King, Mr. King. Yes, so today we're going
Mm-hmm.
to talk about those feelings that we feel that bubble up inside us,
Uh-huh.
whether they are feel good feelings, emotions, or
Yes.
not so pleasant feeling
Not
emotions,
so
right?
pleasant. Yes, yes, yes. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about. I wanted to put down something that, what do you, uh, the Smokey Robinson. I second that emotion. He has a song that was very popular, but he was talking about the good emotion. I
That's good.
second that emotion. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not. We're not gonna do Smokey today. And then there's another one, Mariah Carey. She made a song called Emotions, and she goes really high with her voice. But yeah, it's there's a lot of songs about emotion.
There is, isn't there?
I googled just to see.
Really? How many did you count? Or there was
Oh God, no, it was too many.
too many
It
to
was
count?
too many. Yeah, too
Now, isn't
many.
that
Yeah.
interesting? Like, because artists, what do? Musicians, they express through their music, they express through their words, poetry, writers, they're always talking about the emotion that one's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
A writer, I guess, and you'd agree with this too, Zanetta, because when you're expressing something, you that whole story or outline is driven by emotions. You want to really
Oh
put
yeah.
in the right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're feeling them all the time. Who do we have here? Monica Young. Hello.
Yes, I may not be able to stay on, but I wanted to at least come for a little time. Well, thank you for the little time
Thank you.
that
Huh?
you are able to join us. Yeah, so we're talking about what drives your emotion.
Mm,
Yeah, so what drives? So I'm going to share a little bit on what I had on Thursday because I've been open about my therapy. And it was amazing that my therapist had said your emotional brain and your logical brain. And I
mm.
was like, what?
Yes, we do have them. Left side,
Yeah.
right side.
So yeah, so
Me.
that was very interesting the way she said that. She said, I want your logical brain to answer. So I was like, well, yeah, it's this. She said, but your emotional brain doesn't accept it, does it? No. Yeah.
Right.
So that was interesting. So yeah. So what drives your emotions,
Mm.
Stefania?
So just going back to what you just said, that's interesting
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, you have, your one side saying one thing and one side saying the other, which we call it the logic, the emotion, the yin, the yang, the male, the female,
Mm-hmm.
we have different names for it, and the conscious, subconscious as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and isn't it interesting that it doesn't matter what the logic brain says, or you're trying,
Mm-hmm.
come out with a story or something you want to hang on to, but your emotional side will always surface.
Yeah.
Always. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We try and suppress it. We can suppress it for a while, and then it'll just resurface, and then we just push it back down, and then so it's like we're playing this game, maybe like a
Mm.
form of game within our mind, because we think we can control it. We think we can, drive it the way, or steer it the way we want to. But really, um, what drives it and what controls it? Can we control these emotions?
Mm. Hmm. Um, I know that I'm very uh, well, it's avoidance. That's one of the symptoms of PTSD is avoidance. And so the avoidance is avoiding the emotion, avoiding the memory, avoiding the conflict, avoiding, whatever it is. But there's going to have to come a time that it does surface, because the reason why I'm avoiding it is because I know what's going to do to me. I know what that emotion is. And so I reject it. So I'll just, push it aside. But it's going to come out on a different, um, let's say, okay, so for example, um, I'm being.
Oh, I think we've lost Zanetta there for a second. She's talking about emotions and she just got cut off. But yeah, what does drive our emotions, and can we really regulate them, right? Can we actually, you know, say that the emotions have a big impact on our lives, a big impact. And it's fair to say that our emotions are not always sad. We have elated ones. Zanetta? Oh, she's just jumped out. We can have good emotion, what positive emotions, like feel good emotions, or we can have emotions that don't make us feel that good. So can we regulate them? Can we, I guess, bring them to balance where we don't have to feel all that yucky stuff, all that stuff that makes us feel down and out? And really, at the end of the day, I really wanted to share this while Zanetta was here. At the end of the day, these emotions come up because they need to be released, I believe. They're emotions that need to be felt. They need to, you know, we're only afraid to actually feel them, and the resistance of us not wanting to feel them, particularly if they're, from trauma, they're from, past hurts and disappointments. We don't want to feel them because we feel like we're feeling and rehashing all that whole episode we went through back then. But when we look at what drives them, And we think when we're feeling these emotions, let's face it, we feel like we have a problem. I've got a problem. There's something wrong with me. I just don't feel right, or I can't get on top of things, and I'm always feeling this sadness, or I always feel this, this festering anger, disappointment, grief. All these emotions that we feel basically need to be released. Now, we have a choice. We can either hang on to them, or we can no. Okay, she's still not back. We can either hang on to them, or we can either release them, ride them through. Because I think when they're surfacing, it's because they want to come up to the surface so they can be released. And when we are suppressing them, when we're trying to control them and try and have them go whichever way we want to, there's a resistance. And when you're having that resistance in your body, these emotions are going to latch onto your um, your cellular memory. It's going to latch onto your tissues in your body. And then what happens when you don't release these emotions properly and deal with them? You will have an issue in your tissue. I'm not sure if you've heard that expression before, but an issue in your tissue is when you start actually um, having physical pain in your body, because that emotion that is really rushing through your body is not being released. Hello, Zanetta, are you back? Can we hear you?
I think I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, better.
Oh gosh, yeah. So,
Was it the
yeah,
computer? So I was just saying, Zanetta, I'm not sure whether you heard what I said.
I did not.
You didn't. No, I didn't want to stop, but I just thought, oh, let me just say it. I wanted to say it when Zanetta's here. So what I was just saying is the emotions in our bodies are surfacing up because they need to be released, basically. And they
Mhm.
feel so painful because we are actually resisting them from coming up to the
Right.
surface. It's a bit like when you have a pot that is boiling, right?
Mhm.
And you try and put the lid on it, but you can't put the lid on it because it needs air. That whatever's bubbling over needs some air so it doesn't boil and then overboil and make a big mess of your pot,
Right.
of your kitchen stove, and you have a bigger mess just because
Exactly.
you wanted to put that lid on. And it's the same with emotions, I believe. When we put that lid on and we don't let them actually, come through and
Mhm.
rise, and really, we think that's the crazy part. We think we're going to die if we let an emotion out. We really, I
Mhm.
don't know if you've ever had that experience, it's just such an excruciating pain,
Mhm.
particularly when you have had some trauma in your life, some serious trauma. I mean, any trauma is serious, I believe, because it's how we have
Right.
worked through it. But when that doesn't come through, what happens, it then overboils and it goes into a physical form of pain.
Mhm.
And have you ever heard, like, and I talk about this, where, trauma gets stuck in your cellular memory. It gets stuck in our, flesh, and that's how we have dis-ease in our body.
Mhm.
And then you have another problem. You have an issue in your tissue, I call it. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
where that pain is sitting. So sometimes we can have, excruciating pain, I don't know, in our stomach or in our back, or our neck is just killing us. We can't turn to the left, to the right, whatever the pain is in a physical sense.
Mhm.
99.9% of the time, that pain is directly related to an emotion that has
Right.
not been dealt with, that has not been released, that
Mm-hmm.
is trapped in our cellular memory, it's trapped in our tissues,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so what drives and what drives it is our, I guess, our stories too, that we feed our conscious mind. So we really don't have a problem. We have a program that's running our mind.
Mm-hmm.
And we think it's a problem, but all we really need to do is change the programming.
Right. Right. So the here's a you know the thing about our bodies or us is that regardless of who we are, the you know tough guy, the emotional person, or the we all have emotions, all of us. You know, as a child, that's why I picked the picture of the children because I thought it was kind of cute
Mm.
to show the pictures of the children because the first emotion that the child expresses is crying, and crying is actually an outward expression of I don't know what this is, because it's a mixed emotions. There's a lot of emotions. Oh gosh, are we stuck again? Oh, okay. I'm like, are we stuck again? Um, we're having thunders. We're having bad weather, um, so the crying sometimes when you're really happy, you cry, or when you're really angry, you cry, or when you're confused and you cry. So that's the body's way of expelling some of that emotion. So crying is not necessarily sadness, pain. It's not necessarily that. It's an emotion that's behind, that is causing that release, like what you were talking about, the pot. You let that pot, just a little bit. So that's what it is. It's letting it out. And if we hold it back, then that becomes like a volcano. It's going to erupt. It can simmer. It can. It can die down. But just like a volcano, it's going to take one thing to make it blow up. And
Mhm.
it's not necessarily that issue, that um,
That
we
triggered
were
you.
having that, yeah, that emotion, whatever it is, whatever the trigger is. It's not even that. It could even be as small as you didn't call me,
Yes.
and make it into this huge mountain, this huge, and that's why the topic is what drives your emotion. What is driving it? It's not that issue. It's this and this and this and this and this and this. And it can go on and on and on.
Mhm.
So uh, and like what you said, it goes into our body. I like what you said. We have issues in our tissues. You, you know, because it does. When you're in an emotional state, what happens? You start to have a headache, or you get dizzy, or you get tired, or you need to sit down. Gosh, let me sit down. Why? Because your body is telling you, whoa, we're on overload here. Um, Another interesting thing that I've found out is this: when you don't let out your emotions, and this is from a medical doctor, when you don't let out your emotions, when you don't have an outlet, you can have momentary lapses of memory.
Yeah. Do you know
That
why?
was shocking. That
Do you
was
know
shocking
why?
to me. Yes, it was explained by the doctor.
Right. Explain it.
Yeah, the doctor said, the body said, enough. This is this news right here. It's another bad news, or it's another issue, or it's another another on top of what the body is already experiencing. So what it does, it shuts down and it tells the brain, nope, we're not going to remember that. The body is amazing. It is so amazing. It can no longer receive any kind of bad news or bad issue or whatever it is. And that's why when we blow up, when that unstable and volatile, you know, uh, situation arises, and it's very minute. And the reason why it's minute, so that, and we explode, is because we didn't expect it. It's not a bad news. It's not, it's just something really small that the body can receive. But
Mm.
that's what makes it explode.
Yes.
Body is amazing.
Yes. An amazing organ. And we don't tap in, like, I don't know, the figure is just astronomical, the percentage of what is untapped of, using our full potential in our bodies, and yeah, and using those emotions too to fuel us for the direction we want to go.
Hmm.
We because if we know how to do it correctly, once we release it, we're then able to, channel and go to, the areas of life that we want to um, improve or develop or, transform into. But when we're
Hmm.
stuck in that emotion, because what is an emotion? It's energy in motion. That's what it is. And if
Hmm.
it's not flowing and it's stuck in your body, that's when you have, like I called before, an issue in the tissue and in your
Hmm. Yeah,
it
it
just
becomes a dis-ease. Yeah.
paralyzes you, totally
Hmm.
paralyzes you. And we then go to the doctor, take all these tablets because you could have anxiety, you have depression, we need to calm you down. And antidepressants, and we have this and we have that, and then antidepressants are going to constipate us, so then they give us laxatives. Sorry. And the
Yeah.
list goes on
Yeah.
and on and on, and before you know it,
Yeah.
you know you are taking 5 to 6 even more tablets to
Yeah.
deal with this
Yeah.
emotion, which really, it isn't that difficult. We just need to release it.
Yeah. It's so simple. That's why I love our doctor. I love our family physician. He's young, but yet he's on the holistic side.
Mm,
Um, he will say, yeah, we can give you medicine. It'll be, you know, quick fix, but then you have side effects, and then that's another issue, and then um, here we are. We're trying to fix. He said, what we need to do is we need to try this first. Let's try to do it organically. Let's try to do it holistically. Let's uh, you know um, mental health is the best way to have great physical health. And
mm,
that was his kind of uh, guidance to us. Mental health is a great way to have great physical health, because if mentally you're balanced, not necessarily 100%, because there's nobody's 100%, but it's balanced, then the body will follow. So too much stress, then the body does this. Too much of um, uh, the depression, it does this. Too much anxiety, it does this. So there has to be a balance, and that's what I like about him. He really does, go, therapy. He said therapy is the
Mm.
best way to do it.
It's great. And I think a lot more, doctors are now awakening to that, because we are at
Mm-hmm.
that, time in our lives that there's this great awakening that we're more than just our physical bodies. We are more than
Mm-hmm.
just our physical bodies.
Yeah.
And once we understand that and know that, we're pure consciousness, we can tap into anything, be
Yeah.
anything, create anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that fear that's stopping us, because we're, stuck on that story. We're stuck on looking at it as a problem, not a programming. So when you realize that it's just a program that's been running in your mind for many, many years, depending on how
Mm-hmm.
old you are, a program can be changed.
It can. It
A
can.
program can be changed. It just needs reprogramming. Like when you have a computer and you need to reprogram something in your computer, what
Mm-hmm.
do? You go and take the necessary steps to reprogram it, reboot it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
with our minds, you know, that's where the subconscious work is really powerful. That
Mm-hmm.
we're getting right into the core of it and reprogramming those programs that were installed in your subconscious mind from an early, early age. And that age is from 0 to about 7 years old. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, it is locked in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it will have that ripple effect or that triggering effect as we get older and older and take it into our adult life. And then we wonder why we are not having successful relationships, or we're, financially got issues all the time, or, we just can't seem to physically get well. We're just
Mm-hmm.
one thing after another, one thing after another. And yeah, um, it's really interesting. And what is really interesting, and I like to put it in this analogy, is it's like splinters. Every time you go through some trauma, you get a splinter. Every time you feel hurt and the emotions rise, it's like another splinter that's gone in. So
Mm-hmm.
when we don't attend to those splinters, they get really painful.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a splinter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I've had many, and I've had, I'll tell you what, really painful hair splinters. Because, I used to be a
Oh.
hairdresser. So I used to get hair splinters all the time under my nails. And man, are they, you can't get them out. Like literally, you've got to let them grow and get that little bit of hair poking out from under your nail bed and then pull it out with tweezers. But if they weren't attended to, they were painful. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
same with your emotions. If you're not removing those splinters out from
Mm-hmm.
the different areas of your life, then that flow of energy, because that's what emotions are, it's energy in motion, there's not this flow and you're not
Right.
in alignment,
Right. Right.
right?
You know,
With
there's
back yourself.
there's a thing here now. It's a craze, that it's called axe throwing.
Oh, literally.
Yes, literally, literally, you have an axe and you throw it, and there's this big, circle, target,
Uh-huh.
and it's
Like
to
darts.
release.
Oh,
Yes,
uh-huh.
yeah, it's to release, certain energies, certain emotions. There's also where they smash it. It's called smash or something like that. Where they have all of these old, like TV, old, things that you can actually go in there and start smashing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's to release so it's becoming a craze. It's becoming at first everybody was like, oh my God, throwing axe, really? But
Mm,
now people are loving it. Um, I know that Jeff and I love it when we go to the range. You know, love
boom.
it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But there has to be some type of release. If people are so leery of, therapists, hypnotherapists, then, go do something,
Right.
do do yoga, go to the gym, go to the sauna, go to the steam room, do something, to get that emotion out so that you have to have an outlet.
Mm,
Because if you don't do anything, it's just going to build up.
mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. If you don't do anything, if you just sit there and say, oh, the world is, effed up and all this BS is going on, and you're just at home and drinking,
Mm,
that's not that right thing to do. That because that could lead to a different a different set of issues,
correct.
right?
Yep.
Or or not even drink and just stay at home and just continue to watch all of these TVs, and that becomes another issue, because then you're not getting up and you're not moving, you're
Mm,
not exercising. That's another set of issues.
yep.
So if you don't do anything, then
Move your
it's
body.
going to compound. Yeah, it's going to compound.
Right. So it's basically
Yeah.
means just changing your state, really. Just change your state. And changing your state usually is through movement,
Hmm.
And I think I like the way you said, choose something. Go running, walking, yoga, gym, throwing darts, or in some cases, punching a pillow. That is good therapy as well, where you
Yeah.
just, you know, do you know that game that kids play, that paper mache, and they have to smash it? What's that called? And it's usually
Oh, uh, Piñata,
pin-
the piñata.
pinata.
Yeah.
Pinata. That's
Hmm.
Spanish, isn't it? That's a Spanish game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like so much fun, but that's like a form of release, which is great
Yes.
for kids as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because, it doesn't matter because they're children. Hey, their emotions are very heightened and they need
Right.
releasing. And what often happens is parents try and suppress that. Don't do that. Don't do this. Um, Doing that, you're a naughty boy or a naughty girl, or that's rude, or there's judgment rather than sitting down and saying, where's that coming from? Like, what, like having a little conversation around it rather than putting guilt and shame on children
Hmm.
when they are
Hmm.
trying to express an emotion. And,
Yeah.
the lowest vibration that you can have is shame. And then there's guilt. And then, it goes up the scale. That shame is really down there. And how many times as children, we've been put to shame, being compared to our other siblings, that we're not got the same grades, or we're not as talented or as
Hmm.
creative or as
Hmm.
intelligent, or whatever it is. These spoken words are all, you know, trauma that starts building up in a child's mind and creates an emotion behind it. They're going to feel a
Hmm.
certain way. They're going to feel guilty. They're going to feel shame. They're going to feel like they're not good enough. They're going to feel like not worthy. Their self-esteem goes down. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's why it's so important that early age in children that we do not use our old ways or the ways that we were brought up. If you've
Hmm.
felt that yourself, there's other ways of having a conversation with your children.
Yeah, just like yeah, and I'm gonna, use it still as an example with Nicole's video, that little reel that she put on
Mhm.
today, and I actually shared it on my on my feed, and the she made a point of saying, if you were beat as a child and you turned out to be okay, that doesn't mean that you beat your child because you know that they're going to be okay. But there's an emotion behind that, right? You
Mm.
know, being beaten, and I mean, not even being beaten, being embarrassed, being bullied. You know, when a child falls and slips and or hurts themselves, and they start to cry. Oh, stop crying. Oh, don't cry.
Mm.
Well, their emotion. We're even teaching them at an early age, suppress your emotion. Don't do that. Don't
Correct.
cry. Don't get angry. Don't. So we're being taught that, and just like what I said, with my therapist, she was like, she asked me a question, and the question was, who is to blame? And so I sat there for a while, 10, 15 seconds, and then finally she said, let your logic brain answer. So it was quick for me. I was like, it's not my fault, it's theirs. They did this to me. So then she said, so why is it hard for your emotional brain to answer that?
Mm.
I said, well, because I take part of the blame. And so, so that becomes like that became our conversation. And so now I'm asking myself, like, wow, there's a lot of stuff that I picked up as a child, not knowing, because, you know, behavior is perpetuated. That's what it is. It's
Mm.
passed down. It is passed down from generation to generation to
Mm.
generation. Ignorance is not bliss for certain things. But now, I understand, why they did that. Because their parent did it to them, and then that parent did, so it goes on. And now that we are here, we're adults, we're talking about this now. And so, what do we do as adults? How do we handle these emotions that were not purposely put in us, ignorantly, I would say? And how do we get to the point of reprogramming? How do we get to the point of, okay, I heard Stefania say it's a program. And I heard her say what needs to be done is to be reprogrammed. How? How do we go through that stage of understanding emotions is a program that was put in us? How do we reprogram it? How do we get out of that feeling stuck? Because if Monica said easier said than done, that's why I made a comment.
Okay.
She
Okay.
said easier
Well,
than said than done. So
okay.
how,
So,
what are the simple
okay, so
steps?
it's like this. It's, because we just put so much emotion even around that itself. It's so easier said than done, right? We're already thinking it's impossible because it's easier said than done. Okay. When you have to um, download stuff or reprogram your computer, you get a little sign that says, ready for reprogramming or installing new programs. You get that little thing that pops up on your computer. And if you don't reinstall or, restart, reboot, whatever you want to call it, I don't know the
Mhm.
technical terms, What happens with your computer? It goes slow. It won't open up files when it's supposed to. It'll start playing up. It'll start doing things, right? So when that happens, what do? You make the choice to press those necessary buttons to reboot, reprogram, reinstall, update. That's the word, update your
Mm-hmm.
computer. Do you not?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, you're, you're falling behind and your computer can't keep up. That's the same thing with us. So it starts with the choice. Just simple as that. You want to put the story to it that it's easier said than done, or it's easier done than said. We can turn it
Right.
around and put it that way, right?
Right.
You choose.
Right.
You choose. We choose.
Mm-hmm.
And when we start, again, that is a program because you heard your mother say, oh, it's easier said than done. Or you heard your father say it, or you heard your teacher say it, or that is a programming that was running in their minds, and now that's become your known association, and you've put it
Mm-hmm.
in your subconscious mind, and it's now become your program.
That's amazing. Because I had a conversation with my, with 11-year-old, um, and I started to tell her certain things that because she, okay, so she was proud of her grades, and so she was showing it, and she said that one of her grades she wanted to raise up. I said, well, the reason why you don't have an A on this grade is because in the beginning of the quarter, you chose to be lazy. You had a D. But on the second quarter, because, mom and dad got on you, you went from a D to an A. Who does that? That is someone who really is smart, knows what they're doing, and understands what's going on. If it was someone who was very, kind of, cognitively, need help and really don't understand, then yeah, it's going to be gradual grade going up. Um, Consistency, learning, studying, doing what's necessary to get that upper grade or that higher grade.
Mhm.
Hers was immediate from D to A.
Right.
So she said, but why is my average a B? I said, because of that. That's what happened. I said, it's a choice, sweetheart. I said, you know what? There's a Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And I said, why is that? Well, I think the tree would be big. It would be a big tree. I said, yes. Let's say it's an apple tree. You can have the benefits of the apple, the fruit. I said, but the continuation of that proverb, I said, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Make that choice. Th- Basically, that's it. It is a choice.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly
it
what
is
I'm
a
saying,
choice.
right? It's exactly what I'm like,
Right.
same thing. So we're choosing, we're constantly choosing this way or that way, or stay put. It's still a choice. Some people don't
Yeah,
choose to go either way. They choose to just stay, and that's still a choice.
that's still a
That's still a
choice.
choice. So that's why
Yeah.
even when your therapist, um, was questioning you, and you kind of like your emotional self was saying, well, it's my my fault, or part of it's my fault, because really you were choosing whichever way to navigate through whatever was happening in your life back then, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they say when we actually take responsibility for our actions, that is so empowering. We're in
Yeah.
control then. We're back in, like empowered because, well, who else is going to say anything else? I'm taking control for all the actions that I've taken,
Yeah.
being positive or negative, whatever you want to call them. But
Mm-hmm.
I am taking responsibility. And that you're not running, you're not feeling guilty, you're not feeling shame, you're not feeling all those lower vibrations that are, running in our lower part of our, you know, um, our system. Some people call them chakras, some people call them, so our energy sources. But, 90, something like 95% of the time, we are running from those lower energy levels. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why when we're raising our vibration, we're coming up into our heart and we start getting heart coherence because we're
Mm-hmm.
operating from this, which is just amazing. And then as we go higher and go to the top, obviously it's even more, it's enlightenment. But we're not working from that lower part, which is going back to our hypnosis, your primitive mind, your survival, your fight, flight, freeze
Mm-hmm.
mechanisms. Where that's where we're operating from when we're operating from those lower ones. So yeah, um, emotions are amazing and they're beautiful, whichever way
Yes,
they
they
come.
are.
So we
Yeah.
should really embrace them. We should
Mm-hmm.
really, because they're telling us something. They're telling us something about, you know, the way we're feeling about a certain situation, person, whatever. They're also telling us messages in our bodies as well. They're great. They're great indicators. They're signals. They're signs that
Mm-hmm.
mustn't be overlooked. I believe they've got to be addressed and felt. Felt.
Yes. Yes.
They
Yeah.
won't kill us. Just know it's not like taking a poison tablet or something or ODing. You can't OD on
Mm-hmm.
emotions. You just
Mm. No.
like you can't OD in the sense they'll kill you. Do you know what I'm saying? Unless you
Right.
choose
Right.
to go that way and want to end your life, because then again it's the conscious
Yeah,
mind.
that's the overwhelming of
Right,
the emotion. Yeah, that
correct,
has gotten to the extreme.
right.
So, but yeah, yeah,
So that's when they say people are suffering mental health. I believe it's just a series of emotions that aren't dealt with.
right.
They're just a
Because
whole series of
yeah,
accumulated emotions that have not been dealt with.
yes, because an issue or a problem that is not dealt with or handled
Mm.
won't go away.
Oh no, no.
It won't. It'll
And
still be there.
right, and even if you try and push it down, it'll resurface sometimes.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't disappear unless it's dealt with or handled or faced. That's the only time that a problem can disappear, is to deal with it, to handle it, and or to even talk about it. I have um, the I have to answer all of these questions, these surveys every week before my therapy.
Mm.
So before I was scoring almost at 70. 70 means you're you're in the danger zone.
Oh, okay.
And so going through the therapy has gone down to, now I'm in my 30s.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, because those are the things that I was like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that today. And I would tell my, we're not going to talk about that today.
Right.
We'll talk about that another time. And then, it became a conversation. It started becoming a conversation, and the different techniques that she's given me has been, really vital to, yes, yes, this is Nicole. I was talking about you, Nicole. It's data collection for us and to help you see your own progress. Yes, I was talking about your video. That's Nicole. That one. So yeah, it and I even feel different. I'm starting to, I told Jeff, I was like, I'm starting to see me, you know, um, and it's just, I'm like, wow, I wish I would have done this a long time ago. But I believe that everything happens for a reason and gradual.
Mm.
Um, so that because sometimes the trauma, you know, um, affects us differently,
Right.
and how we handle it differently, and how we react to it differently. So mine is the total opposite of emotions. I don't show none. Yeah, that was just me. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. But
Right.
inside, it's all in there. And then when I start to say one word, and when I start to say just one sentence, and all of a sudden here comes the tears, I'm like, yep, nope, mm-mm, mm, mm, mm-mm.
Right. So you're trying to
Yes.
control them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that's that's a good way to express it, to have it come out, is to speak to someone.
Mm.
You know, really speak to someone, really talk to someone, um, because this has been a stigma with the church. The church world, they haven't embraced. I'm hoping that they do embrace it, to get help. Mental help, to get therapy. Um, because we're three parts. We are three parts. We are physical, mental, and spiritual. So somebody got to take care of the mental,
Mm.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what brings the balance in the
Yeah,
body, and
yeah,
keeps you in alignment, because it's too much of one thing can actually destroy you, or have an impact in a negative effect. It's like food. Say, oh, I'll just eat broccoli all the time and won't have my protein, my fiber. What's broccoli going to do? It's you're being depleted of the necessary nutrients that you should be getting
right.
from fiber and rice, and grains, and your proteins, your meats,
Mm-hmm,
eggs,
mm-hmm,
whatever. So it's all coming into alignment.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Hi, Natasha. Welcome.
Natasha, how
Also,
are you?
yeah. Also, our support system is different in different seasons. Yeah. Imagine who would have been there then. Our support is better now. That's true. That is so true. Um, we are healthier now because who is with us now as we process our trauma.
Mm,
Yeah, and I think uh, we say this. Some people come in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Um, for those seasons and those reasons, we need to grasp that. We need to pay attention to it. Um, we don't need to figure out if it's for a season or a reason. We just need to know, what do I need as to the reason why this person showed up in my life, as to the reason why this is happening in my life, as to why this is not working in my life. So we have to make ask those questions, because everything that we go through, um, and the emotion is like what you said, it's an indicator. It gives an indication as to what our body is telling us, or what we need,
Or
um,
don't need. We need
or
to
or
expel.
or don't need. Yeah.
We need to
So
release.
so that's why isn't this happening? Well, because the reason why this is not happening, you need to reprogram.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Exactly.
Right, you need to reprogram. um okay, so why is this one agitating me, aggravating me, giving me this negative feeling? Is because there's something in there that you have not dealt with. There's just, deal with those issues, deal with those emotions that are popping up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Well, it's been a great conversation, hasn't it, about emotions?
Yes, I second that emotion. That's what Smokey
It,
Robinson say.
mm,
Yeah. So, um, so how do you deal with your emotions, Stefania?
mm. Um, well, I have many ways of dealing with them. I sure can talk to, a therapist about them. Sometimes it's talking's not really going to help me because I know I need to release it. So I may, well, a lot of the time I do a lot of releasing at the gym because when I'm really working out, I know I'm really exerting energy. I'm pumping those weights. I'm
Mm-hmm.
beating myself up in a good way. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I've actually like got more strength when I've got all those emotions that need to be released. I have the most amazing, powerful workouts. And I come back feeling, just gone, right? Sometimes that doesn't work because I'm still too much in my head. So I may need to cry it out, I do a lot of crying. Um, I also write. I feel what's really helped me of late, and I've really engaged in this since the workshop, is I write my feelings. And the way that I do that is I take one particular scenario of that scenario.
Mm-hmm. One
And
scenario of that scenario.
oh,
Okay.
yeah. And I really explode that scenario, which is my emotions, right? That
Mm-hmm.
I'm really focusing on how I'm feeling and um, how I'm now going to release it,
Mm-hmm.
And in my writing, usually I acknowledge that, does it serve me? Is it not serving me? Why am I hanging on to this? And so through my writing, I'm having this conversation
Mm-hmm.
with myself and questioning myself. So kind of being an advocate also within myself, you know what I mean? Like third
Mm-hmm.
person removed. So I feel that that really works. Yeah, but try not focus on the problem. Say, okay, what is it now that I have to do to change this? Like, how can I? What steps do I need to take? And what I really want to stress here to anyone that gets stuck in this roller coaster of emotions, this whole circle, is don't ask yourself why. Why is a dangerous question.
Mm-hmm.
Why keeps you stuck and perpetuating in those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So do not ask yourself, why? Why me? Why did this happen? Why did it happen now? Why couldn't it have happened before or later? Or why? It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
get you out of the
Or,
spiral.
why did I make that decision?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? And, because again, there's judgment, there's blame, there's feeling guilt, shame, whatever
Mm-hmm.
emotion you're feeling around that. And it's a low vibration. and it won't get you moving. Whereas when you ask yourself, how can I, you know, pivot from this? What steps do I need to take? Your higher self will tell you. And if that means sitting with it, meditating, praying, asking God, whatever it takes for you, because everyone has their own, you know, way of dealing with it, ask the right questions and you will get the answers, because
Mhm.
you have all the answers inside you. We have
Yes.
all these answers inside us. Because again, going back to what we said in the beginning, you know, the mind is just so powerful. It's an amazing organism that just, we heal ourselves. We
Mm-hmm.
we create. We,
Mm-hmm.
you know, multiply. We're creating babies. We're doing amazing things. So our bodies can, and it all starts with, you know, again, the program. So remember, you don't have a problem. You have a program.
Yes. I like that. I like that. I'm like, okay, well, what's this program? How did you get in here?
That's right. You know, it doesn't
Okay,
sound as
what do I
negative.
need to do? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what do I need
when
to
you say
do? Okay.
problem, we've grown up to think problem. Another problem. Like you just, oh my God. And it's just, again, all those emotions around the problem.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Really
we're
good.
tackling it from a different angle.
Good
Your
stuff.
brain is, you know, going to have to change.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Yeah.
that to say?
Yeah, which is what we talked about earlier. I feel some emotions are relevant even if they are negative. Allow
Correct.
yourself to feel them and do not demonize that emotion because just because you don't like the way you feel, it is okay to not be okay. Yes, most
Mm,
definitely. Yeah, we had talked about you still need to feel those emotions. Not only just feel it, but be in it. Uh,
mm,
you know, because the difference between us and those that are 6 feet under, we feel.
yes.
I hate to put it that way. Um, those that are, brain dead, we feel. We have emotions. We have, these things, whether they're negative or positive or indifferent. That's what makes us different. That what sets us apart. Um, we can no longer say that that's what separates us from the animals because animals do feel, they do have emotions. Um, so they don't express it the way we do. Sometimes they do, but not the way we do. Um, Ours is totally different from
Mm,
the animals. But emotions are meant to be felt.
mm, absolutely. Absolutely. And have you ever experienced where you've been crying so hard, or you're angry or screaming or whatever emotion, you release it, so sometimes you don't release it, but then all of a sudden you start laughing. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes, yeah, I
Yeah.
have.
That's
Yeah.
you changing your state, looking at it from a different perspective and
Hmm.
totally reprogramming what just went on.
Yeah,
So we can do it. As I said, it's
yeah,
all a choice. We just need to keep checking in on ourselves to, you know, say, okay, ask the questions. What's all this about? Am I drowning here, or can I use this for fuel to move forward?
yeah,
And not be
yeah,
critical, don't judge them. It is what it is. It is what
yeah,
it is.
yeah. The main thing that I ask myself when an emotion is rising, um, is this really coming from the situation right now,
Mm,
or is it masked from a past that I
mhm.
haven't dealt with, and now I'm expressing?
Right.
this anger or this disdain, or, you know, is it from the past? So that's what I ask myself now. Is this for this situation? And if the answer is no, because this situation is totally different, totally simple, there's, there's nothing. Are you frozen again?
No.
Oh, okay. Look, I'm
I'm with
having
you.
issues here.
No, I think because I was so still and just mesmerized, like really honing in on what you were saying. I think my eyes went like,
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what it is. Is it that, really? Is it? That is in your books, and that yes, the opening chapter. Seriously?
you're asking.
Really, I'm being honest. I because when I wrote the book, um, I was in a different state.
Mm,
So, I was just pouring out, and let me tell you, whew, that put me in an emotional roller coaster. That, thank God for Jeff. I I wanted to quit several times. Several times I wanted to quit, but Jeff said no. Tell your story the way you want it, and if it takes you a year, it takes you a year. If it takes you this, it takes you that. That's so. But yeah, it. So that's now my thought. Why am I getting agitated for something that the 11-year-old did that is so 11-year-old? you know, it's a typical 11-year-old reaction or action or attitude or character, and yet I'm being agitated by it. So now I'm gonna have to think, oh, got it. It's because of, and then I'll be able to change, reprogram my conversation with her, and
mm,
not, like what Nicole said earlier, just because I was being yelled at, I was, being called this, called that. Just because I turned out okay does not mean I do the same
mm,
to the child and they will be okay. No, it doesn't work that way. So
mm.
yeah, I it's immediate. It's immediate. Oh, hey, Sanaya.
Nice, Anaya.
Yay. Thank you
Welcome.
for joining. Yeah. So yeah, it's immediate too when the reprogramming. Our computers, when we do the reprogramming, it takes a little while. But with us, it's quick.
Yeah.
We immediately, oh, oh, catch ourselves. Yeah.
Mm, excellent. All right. Well, so we have been talking for an hour
An
and
hour and 14 minutes and 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. Okay.
yes, yes, yes. As always, it's great having these conversations, going deep, having deep dives. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I am going to answer this. Yes, Monica, we can send you the Audible version without the video. And anyone that would like to request that as well, we are more than happy to give you the audio version,
Hmm.
just the audio version as well. Yeah.
So you can listen to it.
Yes, it is. Reprogramming is hard but rewarding. It is because it's a learned behavior. Um, it took me what, since August to now, to finally, okay, we can talk about that, but we're not going to talk about this. What I didn't want to talk about before, we can talk about it now.
Mm,
But there's still some areas in my childhood and in my, the experiences that I had after childhood. It was just compounding experiences that I'm still having a little bit of issues to, to talk about. because there's some shame, like you said. There's some shame. There's some blame. Um, there's some, even though my logic mind tells me a different answer, but my emotional mind is telling me something else as well.
Else. Mm.
So we got to get into that alignment,
Mm-hmm.
that
We do.
synchronization and alignment. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Absolutely. Good. Okay. Well, we'll have to wrap this up now, won't we, Zanetta?
Yes. Wrap it up.
So we would like to just thank you all for, tuning
Yeah.
in and being part of this
Thank you.
conversation today. And got some lovely guests. And of course, if, while you're here, hashtag live, hashtag replay. We didn't do that in the beginning, did we? And
No.
if you manage to
Okay.
stay to the end and you're a troller, hashtag troll. I think that's become our standard joke now, isn't it?
Yes.
I'll laugh one day when someone writes hashtag troll.
I would. I would lose it. I would lose it.
Yes,
Hashtag
yes, yes.
troll. I would lose
Hashtag
it.
troll.
But we love you. We love you,
Yes,
trolls.
we do. We do. We love you all. And of course, if there's any topic you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. No topic is, out of range. We like to talk about everything and anything. And
Mhm.
yeah, let us know.
I'm about to start a trending thing.
Started trending. Did she write?
Yeah. Yes. Hashtag trolling.
There you go.
Yay! We got our first troll. We
Troll.
got our first hashtag troll. Um, I did have a friend of mine ask me if we could speak about being biracial, how difficult that is,
Mm-hmm.
and when um, when you're in an air in a country where it's predominant, let's say me in the Philippines,
Mm-hmm.
predominant Filipinos, of course, and then I'm biracial, so I'm American and Filipino. So the favor is Filipino rather than American. So, but then they're used for being American. So I don't know how to put that in a show. We can talk biracial, you know, as a topic. Um, but yeah, it's kind of tricky.
Mm.
It's gonna bring up a lot of emotions.
Yes, definitely. Well, we can put under the umbrella of, you know, race, you know,
Yeah.
racial disputes, racial conversations, racial
Yeah.
attitudes. It's it's sad, really, because we are all one. Once we really get that, we wouldn't have
Yeah.
this. We wouldn't have all this. But again, that's all just programming that's been instilled in us from young, particularly
Hmm.
from, you know, our elders, our parents, our caretakers, and the
Hmm.
suffering they went through. But yeah,
Hmm.
that's an interesting topic. Definitely, we can create a topic, I'm sure, around that,
Yeah.
Zanetta.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more
Yeah,
offline about that one. But I
yeah,
did want to mention it because, she watches the show
right,
and she just wanted to, put that out there.
right.
Yeah. So for any of you that would like to give us suggestions on how we can talk about it, that emotions won't be so high.
Yes.
Yeah, give us give us some tips, some feedback, some things that we can actually, have a, this topic about. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. All right. So, time has come where we have to say our usual. I'm going to find people to watch the show just so they can write troll at the end. Oh, thanks, Natasha. Let's see how
Thank
many
you.
you get.
Yes. Yes.
Hashtag
Yes.
troll. Yes, let's start the new trend
Yes.
because everyone's writing hashtag replay and hashtag live. We just want hashtag troll
Hashtag troll.
because we know you trollers are watching
We
and
do.
we still love you. Just letting you know
We
that.
do. All
Okay.
right.
On that
This
note,
was fun,
yes,
as always.
as always. Yes, yes, yes. And we shall see you next week. Fun Fresh Fridays. And we send you lots of love.
And passion.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.